Ladies and gentlemen, I will present the results for the first quarter of 2018, but take a look at the photograph. Cindy Crawford, who is the face of Reserved brand. We continue our cooperation with the stars in order to build the strength of particularly Reserved brand. So let's start with the results. 1.7 thousand stores at the end of 2017. We are very happy having the growth of our sales results, a 9% increase in like-for-likes. And also we have a big increase in e-commerce, and therefore the total revenues increased by 16%. Well, we have not added new countries to this slide yet, but what I would like to draw attention to is that Poland, when we have 997 stores, and where you come to these conferences, you probably remember that 1,013 stores we had in the second quarter of 2017, but now we are decreasing the number of stores, although the floor area is increasing. So we are closing those stores which are not doing very well, which are not located in very good shopping malls, but we develop those stores which have bigger potential because, for example, of their location in a better shopping mall. So we are focusing on quality even more. To the right-hand side, you can see how many more stores we have, almost 60 new stores year to year as per the end of the quarter. Now a few words about sales. The like-for-likes increased by almost 9% in local currencies, and we experienced growth in all the countries, and particularly in the Czech Republic, Romania, Hungary. Those countries really received our new collections very well. Also, when you take a look at our brands, the biggest increase was experienced by Reserved, the latest collections. So we are very happy that after, well, the difficulties and effort that we had to put into it, and now it's selling very well. The collections are really very well received by the customers, and we are very happy to have it. You can see it on the right-hand side graph also. Internet sales increased by 130%, although last year it was only 100% increased. Online sales grew by 8% for Poland itself. Now, the sales by brands, Reserved is our leading brand. What's interesting is that on the right-hand side, you can see a table which shows the growth of the floor space. For Reserved is 10% almost, but the increase in sales or the revenues from that brand was 11%. Well, practically all the brands, apart from Mojito, which did not do very well in the first quarter, but the remaining brands very well received and experienced increases. Now the regions, Poland, very positive growth, 16%. Then Europe without Poland, 30% growth year to year. And CSI countries, although the sales floor space increased by 19%, but the revenues grew by 6% only. And now the sales for the whole group. As you can see, we've experienced 6.5% increase in revenues per square meter, and in Poland, 3-digit increase actually, but there were also decreases east of Poland, especially in Russia. Now, the gross profit margin, it was lower than in the first quarter of last year, but we should take a look at what's going to have in the second quarter of the year. You can see that on the graph on the right, and you can see what currency exchange rates we've adopted for dollar for the new collections. The dollar exchange rate is good enough so our profit margins are not really threatened for the second quarter of this year. As far as the third and the fourth quarter are concerned, I won't tell you anything today because we don't really know what's going to happen to the dollar exchange rate. At that time, we'll see the situation in July and August. This will determine our possible margins in the third and fourth quarter. Now, the costs of our operation, the cost of stores decreased by 1% year to year. In green, you see rental costs. Then we have the HR costs and other costs in yellow, marked in yellow. What should be said here is that we are better and better in negotiating rentals. Plus, we close those facilities which are not very profitable, and therefore the result here is improving. And also in Russia, we've been able to negotiate lower rentals. So thanks to Russia, the rentals went down in this part. Now, the second important part is HR or personnel costs. Although the basic salaries grew by 4 to 13%, depending on the country, in the Czech Republic, Ukraine, and Romania, they increased most significantly. But still, we've made a big effort to better manage our personnel to operate in a more effective manner. There are three elements which are important. First of all, working on fitting the employment in the stores so that it suits the real traffic in the stores and the sales. The second thing is outsourcing. So whatever is not connected with pure selling, like cleaning, for example, etc., we outsource to external companies. So the HR costs went down. However, other costs, including outsourcing, went up. And also, we've established a special team consisting of several people, which is responsible for analyzing and simplifying the way of work in the stores. And the team has already suggested several nice solutions related to buying special furniture or cards or smartphones, which make the work of our salespeople easier. And this leads to savings in the time that they need to do a given job. So the costs are pretty flat compared with the fourth quarter of last year, but in terms of the other costs, they are higher because of the outsourced services. However, you can see that the total costs increased by 5% only. These costs are related to further development of online sales and further strengthening of the products. So we've discussed the revenues, the gross profit margin, and the costs. Now let's summarize. Revenues, we of course want costs to grow at a lower pace than revenues. And at the end, you can see at the bottom of the table, you see the net profit, 117 for the last year's first quarter and 104 this year. Now, inventory is very important, and it went down compared to the fourth quarter. If we take inventory per square meter into account, we've had an increase of 3% only year to year. So actually, we don't have any problem with inventory control. And we hope that this trend and good inventory management will continue in the coming quarters. Good inventory management is one thing, but what is also very important is to free the working capital. We announced that several months ago. We want the liabilities to match inventories, and we've already almost achieved this objective. This year, we would like to match the two fully. Whether this is going to happen in the second or maybe in the third quarter of the year, I can't answer this question. But basically, I believe that our objective related to matching liabilities to the inventory level is not endangered in any way. What should also be noted is the net cash. Right now we have shortened the cycle, the cash cycle. It's only 24 days today. So we generate cash. We've had the cash at the level of operating flow, and as you can see, we still have this net cash position, so we don't have debts and we have stable financing, which we need for CAPEX. You can see 150 million planned of CAPEX planned for this year. So to sum up the whole quarter, we have a very good collection in Reserved, but also good collections for other brands. Revenues, both in the stores and online sales, grow. We are able to control the costs. You know that we can do that if we want to, and now we want to control costs, so costs are under control, and also inventory is under control. So we are developing in a safe manner, and we hope that we'll have good coming quarters of the year. Now, several most important events from this quarter of the year. We've opened the 5th store in Russia, including Crop now, because previously the online store didn't have Crop, but now all 5 brands are represented in Russia. Bulgaria, we opened 5 new stores, and Sinsay was introduced to Bulgaria for the first time. And well, today we've published the first integrated LPP report where we're describing our CSR activities. My colleague is going to talk more about them. But let's focus on the models and influencers, fashion influencers, because we built the recognition of our brand by cooperating by stars, movie stars like Kate Moss or Cindy Crawford. But let's remember that fashion trends are influenced, especially among young generation, by the so-called fashion influencers. And we try to cooperate with these local fashion influencers. In Poland, this would be Kaimel and Ma Fashion, who cooperate with us when we plan new collections and advertising for them. Now, a few words about CSR. We are the only Polish company that joined the Accord Alliance in Bangladesh. That was an alliance aimed at increasing safety of work, primarily fire safety. And so we joined that alliance, and we started developing our internal audit division. Then in 2015, we opened our office in Bangladesh. It was aimed at auditing activities primarily, but also at cooperation with factories. In 2017, we further improved our control in Asian factories. We employed AGS audit company from the UK. So now we control safety in Bangladesh better. And now in 2018, we joined the second Accord agreement, and we also prepared the integrated report, which you have the pleasure to read today. It's included in your materials, and also it's available on our website. I would now like to give the floor to Anya, who's going to say more about this report. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the integrated reports are LPP More is the title of the report. Well, this is a very interesting report, so even without slides, I'm going to talk about it. We would like to tell you briefly what this report is all about. It should give you a possibility to compare us to other companies in the market. Among others, that's why we've selected the GRR, the Global Reporting Initiative Standard, to prepare this report. So if you take a look at the last pages of the report, or at reports of other companies from the fashionable clothes industry, you will see the energy consumption indicator that has been developed with the use of the same methodology as for other companies. But non-financial matters are also related to risk management. So I would like to briefly tell you how we, in our whole supply chain, let's say that we have an exemplary price tag here. The value is 123 zlotys. And let me tell you how we try to have a positive impact on our environment. This starts with the design phase. In our offices in Gdańsk, Bydgoszcz, and Warsaw, 40 different designs approximately are developed every year. And our designers need to remember about things that are then visible on the internet, like the materials used for production, like organic cotton, for example. Last year, we started using it already. Or, for example, wood cellulose, which is more environmentally friendly than other materials. And this year, we are also going to start new capsules that are going to be seen in the store and which are going to include more environmentally friendly materials. We also focus on the welfare of animals. Long time ago, we abandoned using natural fur, for example, or Angora, but we're still monitoring these matters because we want animals to be safe. Now, copyright. You've probably heard many times how companies faced problems. Well, such cases are discussed very broadly over the internet, but we provide training to our designers every year in order for such situations to be avoided. And these are obligatory trainings that are provided to everybody. Then, well, after we design a dress, for example, we outsource it to last year, 4.2 million pieces of clothes were produced in Polish factories. So for Mojito, for example, it was 10% of the total offer that we have. So every 10th dress, for example, in Mojito, for Mojito brand, in Mojito stores, comes from Poland. And we have approximately 1,000 suppliers all over the year. And last year, we conducted 1,118 audits aimed at checking the conditions of work, like working hours, for example, the ban on employment of children, or general health and safety rules. In Bangladesh, where the challenges are the highest, we are a signatory to the Accord agreement, and this year we are going to sign it again, because the first term of the agreement is already over, and we've been able to correct all the non-conformities that were discovered, and that's why we asked SGS to provide support to us in terms of auditing. So SGS cooperates with our auditors who work for the office in Shanghai. Now, the stores are not only the place where the products are displayed, this is also the place where you interact with customers, with clients. And of course, customer service is something that we focus on. We also try to lessen the workload on individual employees, because we want people to stay in our company, to be loyal. And because of that, we're conducting 2 projects. One of them is targeted at those who are still at school, at universities. We ask our employees to become ambassadors of LPP, and we invite people from universities, for example, or from schools, to we show them how clothes are designed and what the production process is. And then we also have the Pierwsza Przymiarka, the first try-on project. Here we help young people to make the first step into adult life, into employment. Last year, we also spent a lot of money to support universities in Gdańsk, Warsaw, Krakow. We also develop design manuals, because we want to have a positive impact on the Polish economy and a positive impact on the creative brand. We want to, in this way, we also support our future employees. Of course, CSR, like any other area in the company, has to be managed. So last year, in August, we adopted the Sustainable Development Strategy for the coming 4 years.
It has to be safe and made in safe conditions. This staff is also an increasing challenge, not only in Poland, but also abroad. We set up integration teams so that they feel our values, so that they feel the exceptional atmosphere in our company. Then our surroundings, we have decided to set up a foundation, a charitable organization. And then ethics, we are creating a scheme, a code of ethics for our company. We want to be in closer touch with our staff when something is not working well, when an issue needs to be dealt with. So this is very concise summary. You will find more details in the report. You may use it as a kind of encyclopedia on all these issues. If you have any questions, you can also always contact us. You can always ask us questions or make suggestions or present your concepts. Thank you. Przemek, over to you. I hope Anya has encouraged you enough to look at our integrated reports. Now, plans for the future. Growth in the working space this year is going to continue 3% in Poland. The biggest growth, however, in the EU countries, 23%. Also a significant growth in the Eastern market, including our new market in Kazakhstan. We're going to have Slovenia and also Israel, where we are going to have franchise shop. 350 million will be invested in stores themselves in terms of CapEx. You can see here our 5 brands: Sinsay, House, Reserve, Crop, and Mojito. The colored figures show the current surface, while the gray field show the average we are aiming at, while the line above shows the future. So Reserve, today it is 1,205 meters. We want to reach 2,500 meters. The same for Crop. Now it is 339, while we are going to aim to have as medium 450 square meters. But the figure above shows the surface of a kind of maximum size stores. So in case of Reserve it is 4,000 meters, and in case of Crop it is 1,000 meters. In other ways, these stores are going to grow, so the cost per square meter will drop, while hopefully sales will not decrease, but on the contrary. So e-commerce growth year to year is very good, 140%. We want to reach more than 720 million this year, and we are hoping very much in the Ukrainian e-commerce we are going to start this year. So we want to continue with 2-digit growth. We have positive likes to likes. We have big growth in the e-commerce, 50% is the expected margin, and net cash will continue. We are watching what is happening with foreign exchange. We are watching very carefully ruble and also dollar. What about ban on trade on Sundays? Definitely this is of interest to you. Well, it is too early to assess results. However, looking at what was happening up to date, in March 2 Sundays, in April 4 Sundays, where trade was not being done. Well, definitely we can say that some sales moved to the internet, to e-commerce. In the first quarter this year, we have for 85%. So likes for likes are positive. So we don't see negative results as yet, but well, we'll have to wait and see for several more months to make final conclusions. Next Friday, we are going to have a general meeting of stakeholders. We want to pay dividend of 40 zlotys per one share. All the total payable 73 million. This is what is proposed to the general well, next year we're going to have new MSSF, which will change our approach to rentals. We want, hence, to also change our financial year. We want to start it with the February the 1st, not January the 1st. Well, actually, our budgets are already made in this way because, well, in February we have new collections. We start trading with higher margin, while actually January is the month where we sell off winter collections. So that's why we want to move the beginning of the financial year from January to February. Next year we are going to have hence 13 months in one fiscal year, and then regular 12 months year starting from February, ending December, ending not in December but January 31st. Well, the change will actually make big difference in terms of performance of each quarter, because now each quarter will have only one bad month with poor performance, and not instead two poor months in the first quarter as up to date. So we hope that our results will also visibly increase after this change. This is all from me. Now I would like to encourage you to ask the questions. We have got online transmission, so you have to use the microphone. Please present yourself before you ask your question. No questions? I have never had perhaps a press conference without questions. Really? Are there no questions at all? Let's wait one more second. Well, I'm a little late today, so perhaps it has already been mentioned. What about the store in London? How does it work? Is it coping well? Because this is a very interesting place. Well, it was opened in September last year. We are happy about that store. It's going good and well in terms of sales, according to our plan. What has actually surpassed our expectations is what is happening in terms of quality. We are learning a lot there, and we hope that we will be able to really deploy this experience elsewhere. When we tried in the past to work with designers, for instance, from the UK, not always they were ready to work with us. Now they can see our store by themselves, and it is now easier for us to get them interested in this cooperation. And there are also a positive financial aspect of these activities. Well, one more question. A banal question. Well, gross margin in the first quarter, how to challenge it? Well, gross margin in January and February, 2 months where we were doing sell-offs. Our new policy is aiming at selling the maximum of inventories from last year. So that's why the gross margin was slightly lower than last year. However, the margin for the new collection that we were selling in March was higher. Well, however, looking at these 2 months, the margin was lower, but looking at March and April, we are glad about margins, and our overall target does not seem threatened. Maria, one question. I would like to ask about selling, general and administration expenses. In the first quarter, we were positively surprised by these costs. There were savings on rentals and so on. Does it change anything in the whole year picture? Well, let me answer more broadly this question. Last year, we were focused as how to improve collections in order to increase our sales. So we wanted to recover our markets, traffic in our shops, improve likes for likes. So this plan has succeeded. Collections are better. Clients do come and buy. So we have completed what we were aiming at. And for this year, we want to maintain good trends in sales, but we want to increase our margin because, well, last year we were forgetting a little about the margin, and we want to control costs very much. Well, last year we were not that much focused on costs. We were saying we must invest money into our future, so we cannot be too prudent in terms of costs. So this year, however, in spite of growing remuneration, we have a closer look at cost. We are able to control our costs better. So the first quarter is showing that our results are even better than expected, that cost, ergonomy, work in stores, all these components are working well. Also rents are improving. So I am an optimist as regards these costs in the coming quarters as well. One digit, perhaps slightly faster growth after the first quarter, but it seems that we are on a good track as how to control our costs. Let me make use of the microphone. Results are very good. Let me then ask about two things which do not look that good, or perhaps one, I don't know how it looks like. Mojito. Why does it have poor results? And the Middle East. It seems that sales decreased there. And then the German market, how does it look like in terms of profitability? Well, Mojito, as you know, with 5 brands in portfolio, it is always so that one is doing better, one has got a better collection, one has got, well, last year we had some drops in house. We had kind of worse collections, but this year it has improved. This year Mojito is doing more poorly. I think collection is repeating too many models from previous season, and also in a way good collection by Reserved has taken perhaps some customers from Mojito. So Mojito has to try harder to improve their collections. So that's what we want to do. And then the Middle East, well, yes, this is the biggest disappointment for us. We were counting on bigger number of stores and better sales in that region. Well, this region continues to be affected by issues, less tourism, problems between Qatar and Saudi Arabia, the overall geopolitics. So sales keep decreasing, not only by our company, but in other brands. So our franchise partner really has not big appetite having these issues at home market, but also we cannot impact very much what is happening there. So our collections are really nice, but the problem lies in the overall macroeconomics of this region. And Germany. Well, in Frankfurt, we will open a new store this year. We keep working on bigger traffic in stores. The first quarter was not too good, but in April, in May, the new collection of Reserved is received very well also in Germany, so we are also a little optimists. Do you mean, are you going to get to the break-even point in Germany this year? I would like very much, but it's not going to happen this year yet. Good. Well, so thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much for having come. And do come back in 1 quarter. Well, time is passing so fast that we will soon meet again. Thank you.
Okay.